Welcome to another edition of Islanders Insider. I'm Stephen King. We come to you from the press box here at Chapman Field once again as well. We wrap up the Islanders Insider season. We're going to be speaking with the athletic director of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, Scott Lazenby, as well as the head coach of Islanders baseball, Scott Malone. We've also got some special features, showing you some insight to some of the great highlights of this past year. Let's start things off, though, talking with the AD, athletic director for Texas A&M University Corpus Christi, Scott Lazenby. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks, Steve.
Glad to have you on.
Hey, glad to be here.
Waited till the end. Get you a little overview of the year that has gone by. What a great year it was for Islanders athletics, the successes. So many programs had so many improvements throughout the year. Do you believe there was maybe like a department-wide preparedness that coming into this year that we may not have seen before in the past?
I think maybe a little bit more this year because, we had a couple new staff members come in, but also I think there was a lot of anticipation for this upcoming year because I think everyone knew our basketball programs are going to be better. And the addition of a brand new women's soccer program was something exciting. So I think going into this year, everybody was really anticipating and looking forward to having a really good year. The soccer, obviously, but then knowing that basketball was going to be much better, we were really excited about that this year.
You talk about soccer. Soccer was the newest sport to A&M Corpus Christi. Shanna Caldwell, your head coach, started from absolute scratch. Had to bring in her very first players. And even though they finished with only 2 wins, it's still got to be considered an impressive debut season. And looking at the overall event itself, it was a mystery. We didn't know what we had coming in. You have to be thrilled about the impact the program had in the community.
Yeah, it was, a great year for women's soccer. Talking with Coach Caldwell before the season, she had hoped, hey, I hope we can get at least 1 win. Very young team, new program. Didn't know if that was going to happen or not. But to start off with getting that first win in San Antonio at UTSA, a former conference foe, was probably better than what we could have dreamed of. And then in addition, getting at least 1 conference win and being in almost every single conference game, bodes well for the future and what she's doing there. And, having that brand new stadium helps. It helps with her recruiting. It's a brand new program. You can't beat coming to school on an island. Brand new facility. So really excited for the future for that program.
Oh, there's no doubt. And for Islanders Athletics, another program, of course, basketball, men's and women's, major revenue generating sports. Not only do you want it to be, but you need it to be strong, plain and simple. Now, we saw the men's and women's programs take tremendous strides back into contention for their respective Southland Conference titles. Willis Wilson, Royce Chadwick, the 2 head coaches, they do things right. And not only do we know it, but a lot of other people recognize that as well. And they were honored with tremendous postseason awards. Now, talk to me about their success and recognition and how it gives prestige to the overall reputation of Islanders athletics in the eyes of the public and the donors.
You can measure it in terms of the wins, the amount of people coming, but the way I've really measured it this past year is, I'm out in the community a lot at different events, and I've had, I can't even count how many people that have come up to me and have said, man, your basketball teams are doing so good this year. It's so good to see them doing so good. And then I ask them, well, have you gone? And they're like, no, not yet. I'm sorry, I'm going to get there. And to me, that's a bigger measure of success that the people in the community are recognizing it and seeing it. They're going to see this next year. It's happened again, and that'll get them to come out. And I think that says a lot for what our local news stations and our newspapers have done this year. I think they've really increased their coverage of us over the past year, and I can't thank them enough for that. I do, though, attribute that a lot to our own media relations staff that have worked that with them and developed those relationships. But it bodes well for the future in knowing that we've got a lot of those players coming back for both teams. So next year is going to be even more exciting. I can't wait for next year already. Yeah. We've got pretty much almost the entire men's basketball team coming back, and the women's basketball, a lot of their players, but he's got some new ones coming in, so it's going to be very exciting next year. And Willis, to cut you off, Willis winning that Ben Jobe Award, when he got nominated, he came in and told me, he was very excited for that and very honored just because that's one of his mentors. And then to win it was something that is just shows a tremendous respect for him more than just our program. However, I did kind of give him a little bit of hard time because the gentleman that won it last year was the head coach at UConn who won national championship. So, there's no pressure next year.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all. The bar's kind of high.
That's all right.
The bar was set kind of high across the board this year. Volleyball contended for their respective team title, as did men's and women's basketball, and most recently baseball, as they were in contention. Now, tennis, under 8-time Southland Conference Coach of the Year Steve Moore, they swept both the regular season and tournament titles in both men's and women. For the women, it was their very first opportunity to carry the hardware, which is fantastic. Now, the Commissioner's Cup is awarded to the university program with the most overall success based on a point system. We had our best finish ever contending for the Cup this year. Have you started dusting off a spot in your office maybe for next year's Cup?
We're still a few years away from getting to that very top, but I hope to see us moving up a little bit more, inching up our way to where in a few years, hopefully, then we're sitting up there 1 or 2 and fighting for it. That's a great goal to meet or goal to get to, because when I go to the conference meetings and there with the ADs, it was very nice this year being able to sit there and realize that, hey, we're in the top half now, and the commissioner's standing, but watching the other ADs hoist that cup, I want to be up there one day, and to bring back to show everyone in the department so everyone can see our success. And the things we've accomplished in our programs.
No doubt. And I mentioned tennis a moment ago. Speaking of tennis, this past year we hosted 3 Southland Conference championships, volleyball, and of course men's and women's tennis. The feedback I received was that it was definitely a success. Now, why is it important to continue to showcase the university, our facilities, and our city, and bring more championships here to Corpus Christi?
There's several different reasons. One, obviously, we want to host because our teams don't have to go on the road for that. So it's a home court advantage for us, which gives us a better opportunity to actually win the conference championship. It's a great opportunity for those other teams that maybe they didn't travel to us this year. Now they get to come here, see our facilities, play here. They visit Corpus Christi. But probably most importantly to the community, they spend money here.
Sure.
They stay in the hotels. They go to the restaurants. They see Corpus Christi to where they might end up thinking one day, hey, let's go back and travel there and vacation. That was a beautiful place. It's a vacation destination. And then the city seeing that we're bringing people in, it makes them realize, too, that, hey, that's just not a university out there. That's a place that actually draws people to our community.
Oh, there's no doubt. And before we let you go, I know that you've probably been reflecting on this a little bit at times, but what would you say was, for you, the most thrilling moment in Onondaga Athletics this year?
I don't know if I have one single one. There are so many. One thing, we've been talking about athletic successes, but one of the big things this year, we graduated, I think, 40 student athletes over the last year, which that's the main reason we're here. The GPAs, I think the overall GPA for both the men's and the women's programs has risen again. That's very exciting for me to see. I can't remember how many 4.0 students we had this year. Probably one of the most, I guess, neatest one is Russell Vaughn winning an academic All-American and the only catcher to do it. That is a tremendous feat in itself for someone of a program of our level to be able to get someone on that team. That's great for him. But then when I look at the single most, I really don't look at a single because I look at each sport individually. Volleyball getting to host the conference championship, winning their very first match in postseason Southland Conference tournament. Soccer winning their very first game, at UTSA, the former conference foe, even though I wasn't there, but I was following it on Twitter and kind of getting restless at the end, for them to do that. Indoor track showed a tremendous improvement. Men's and women's basketball, both getting 18 wins was something, which was very, very rewarding for our programs. Baseball doing what they did this year again, they're just seeing tremendous improvement from them. Softball did struggle a little bit this year, but in their last month, they started coming on. She's got a very young team, so you can see the bright future. Tennis, men's tennis winning again, old hat. When they won it, I was like, hey, they won it, but the women winning it was I was so excited for them and what they did. And then I think to cap off the end of the year was our 4x400 men's team winning the very last race in the outdoor championships and seeing that it was made up of 3 freshmen and a junior. I can't wait to see them in the future. And Coach Flanagan getting that new facility is going to help them tremendously in recruiting.
Scott, once again, it was a tremendous year, and congratulations to you and the entire program, and no doubt we look forward to something really special next year as well.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Stephen.
Stay with us. When we come back, we got a special highlight package showing you some of the most exciting moments of 2013-2014 in Islander athletics. More to come on Islanders Insider. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. This time we have a special montage of some of the highlights of 2013-2014. Enjoy.
What's Massage Envy Spa? For me, it's healthy, it's affordable. I mean, he always wants
pain relief.
Right. And I want a healthier complexion. And now we can get a customized massage or a healthy skin facial
At a really good price.
at a great price. And nothing feels better than that.
Customized massages and healthy skin facials, all at the perfect price. Start a healthy routine today with Massage Envy Spa.
Go, you'll see.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. This time we're going to talk some Islanders baseball with the head coach of the Islanders program, Scott Malone. Coach?
Good morning, Stephen.
2014 baseball season has come to a close. Impressive one, no doubt. The season was good. That being said, we want to wish you congratulations on an excellent year. Your team definitely contended for the regular season title going into that final week. But as luck played out, or maybe you can look at it as kind of bad luck played out, you had to finish in the toughest place in the Southland, and that was at Sam Houston State. You even described that as comparable to playing Islanders men's tennis in Corpus Christi. It's challenging going to Huntsville to play for a title in their facility. Now, talk about the mindset of your team going into that final weekend.
Oh, I think kids were excited. And it was a spot. It was a spot that we had never been in before. Let's be honest. 3 games to play. Playing for a championship, and couldn't be more proud of this club. The pitching staff as a whole, the hitters, what these guys had done. Obviously, those 5 seniors, the leadership they brought to the table in getting us to that point. Going into those last 3, and we got in there and just honestly got ambushed a little bit. Sam Houston knew. Those guys had been there before, and you go back and look at their track record this season, the way they matched up with Texas A&M, Houston, Rice. They were definitely talent-wise the class of the Southland Conference and kind of flexed their muscles a little bit at the end of the season and looked like a really good club. So congratulations to those guys. But again, really proud of our guys and how they continued the momentum of our program.
Now, after the tough final weekend of the regular season, your team finished 3rd overall. Now, you had told me weeks ago, going into the tournament, this is weeks prior, looking at potential pairings, that the one team you didn't want to face was the host team, Central Arkansas. Now, at the time, they were on the outside looking in. You knew that if you faced them, it was going to be a tough one playing at their place.
It really speaks to expectations. We touched on it with Sam going in there at the end of the season where, man, those guys expect to win the league, big raucous crowd. Then you turn it and you go to Central Arkansas, tournament tested, won the tournament last year, play on a turf field, always play well at home. Again, strong Arkansas crowd, set an attendance record opening night, the night we played them, and really just a hostile environment. His kids played with so much confidence, and it was a great game. Well played by both clubs. They came out a notch ahead and knocked us down into that loser's bracket, and then we start the fight trying to get out.
Now, you picked up a win along the way. You knocked off Nichols that next night as you came through, but then faced McNeese State in your 3rd game, and a little disappointed that you lost that game and ultimately got eliminated from the tournament. But what needs to be pointed out is the fact that at that point, all of the top 4 seeds in the conference tournament were out. Pretty unbelievable, including the regular season champ, Sam Houston State. Baseball, plain and simple, is tough in the Southland Conference, top to bottom.
This conference is loaded. Always has been, for a long time, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. We used to be that 7-8 seed that nobody wanted to play, and now we've grown up a little bit into that 2-slot, 3-slot. And, and we were on the flip side of it this year. But, again, I think it says a lot about the length in the Southland Conference, how talented this conference is from top to bottom. And obviously heading into the regionals, you hope now Sam Houston Southeast go out and flex their muscles a little bit and maybe knock off a couple of big boys along the way and keep building the reputation of the Southland Conference.
Oh, there's no doubt. Now, in hindsight, I'm sure you can nitpick some decisions and pitching. I know it was a little bit beat up physically going in there, but overall, are you content with your team's overall performance in the tournament?
Yeah, I think if you go back and look at what I said before game 1, for us to get hot, for us to get on a run, we're going to have to hit. We're going to have to score runs. That was a place where I felt like I had 7 or 8, 9 hitters that were maybe more talented than some of the other clubs. And, not having it right in front of me, I don't think we scored the way I thought we needed to score every game. Central Arkansas beat us 3-1. With a really good starting pitcher, we needed to score 4 or 5 runs. Even the Nichols game we won, we relied on Trevor Belichick, Jacob Doris to be so good, and those guys pitched us to a win. So I felt like the hitters needed to get hot, Stephen, for us to win, and that's probably where we came up a little bit short.
You have 5 seniors leaving the program this year. Russell Vaughn, Cody Stevens, Brandon Tierney, Jacob Hubert, and A.J. Longoria. Briefly tell me about their impact on the program and ultimately who needs to step up to fill those roles.
On the field.
Particularly on the leadership side.
Sure. On the field, first of all, maybe what wasn't expected from this guy's losing Eric Weiss, John Gonzalez, Brad Porras, Murderers Row. And that was my biggest concern. How are we going to replace them? I had no idea it was going to be, I knew Cody Stevens would step up, but Brandon Tierney and Russell Vaughn both raised their batting average 100 points from last year. That's impossible. You can't raise it that much. Those 2 guys did it, hit for extra bases, drove in runs. Those guys were 6, 7, 8-hole hitters last year and ended up hitting 2, 3, or 4 on this club. So it says a lot about what they did on the field. You touched on, the in the dugout presence, the off the field presence. How you replace Russell Vaughn, I don't know. And I've already talked about it with some of our juniors, to be such a vocal leader. We've had kids lead by example. To be so vocal, and have an extension of our coaching staff, as Russell Vaughn turned into the accolades, the way he did his business in the classroom, in the weight room, those guys, they walk the walk. And that's a huge part of how this program continues to take steps in its overall growth, those 5 guys.
I'm looking forward to that. Now, Is the so-called off-season schedule for your squad just a combination of recruiting and camps for the staff and, of course, summer ball for the guys? Or is there a lot more to the equation that's on the table for you now?
Those are the highlights for sure. Coach Gibbs hasn't stopped. He's right back on the road recruiting, starting to look at the next crop of Islanders. Those high school kids that have finished their junior year and are turning the corner. Those are the guys we're out, bearing down on right now, getting ready for the next group. And then obviously camp-wise, behind us on Chapman Field is, I think it says a lot about our program. Where we were 7 years ago when we first started this thing, getting 15 kids out to a summer camp and trying to make it a great camp for 15 kids. Those have all tripled, quadrupled in our time here. Now we're getting 50, 60, 70 kids out for a baseball camp, which says a lot about, I think, our coaches and how we run camp. And I think our ability to even recruit locally, to get our brand out in Corpus Christi, in the Coastal Bend. It's drawing attention to our program. And now moms and dads are bringing their kids in the summer onto the island for baseball camp. So it's a fun time of year. It's really good. You get some little kids out on the field and kind of helps you put some of those tough losses behind you to get some little guys out here and have fun playing baseball.
And I know a lot of the guys are heading off to summer ball.
Yeah, guys are going out. This is where guys grow up. Jacob Doris and Trevor Belichick 2 summers ago, those guys went out with almost double-digit ERAs. And we had guys calling us like, hey, you sending us the right guy? Yeah, don't worry. They'll be fine. Those guys went out in summer ball and grew up and came back men, and you can see what they've done in our program now over the last 2 years. But that's the biggest thing with summer ball is it gets some of your younger guys out on the field, more innings, more at-bats, and more confidence, most importantly. So I'm excited about that. Half our team's already gone and in their destination, and it's up and running. So it'll be fun keeping up with those guys this summer.
Coach, it was a tremendous year.
I appreciate it. Kids did a great job. And again, you touched on it. Those 5 seniors were unbelievable.
Congrats.
Thanks, Stephen.
Scott Malone, head coach of Islanders Baseball, joining us here on Islanders Insider. Stay with us. We wrap things up. When we return, once again, you're watching Islanders Insider. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. Again, we wrap things up here for the 2013-2014 shows of Islanders Insider. And, of course, it's very important we thank a lot of people, in particular the coaches that joined us each and every week, all of our guests that were a part of the show, including our athletic director, Scott Lazenby, who joined us today. We also want to thank all of the great staff here at our Islanders Media Relations Office, and in particular, a group of individuals that make this show possible. And that, of course, are the members of the Islanders broadcast crew, a student organization that truthfully are the heart and soul behind our Islanders Insider show. We thank them tremendously for their work and their efforts. Again, we sincerely appreciate you tuning in. I'm Stephen King. This has been Islanders Insider. Scott, once again, it was a tremendous year. No, death. Death.
Did you get that? Okay.
This is the worst ever. Of course, this is the one time we have a time constraint. 3-2. I'd rather have like in the end of life, Karate Kid montage, or something like that. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we have a special report for our